Yeah, they got it's pretty good. It's pretty good support. Yeah, I'll talk about it afterwards, you know. But I'll tell you something, darling. You look marvelous. Absolutely marvelous.
Yes.
Do you realize that
No.
when you look in the mirror each morning, how marvelous you look?
No, I don't.
Well, I'm here to tell you, mirror, mirror on the wall.
My vitamins are
Editta's
working.
the marvelous of all.
The vitamins are working.
The vitamins seem to be, something's working well.
Well, you got the magazine there, so
yeah,
don't
we
forget
got the
now.
magazine. We'll let people know about it, yeah. And
Yeah.
we're going to let them know about your photography. And welcome very much to Conversations, where it's a real pleasure to welcome to the program Editta Sherman. And Editta Sherman is known all around town as the Duchess of Carnegie Hall. She holds forth there with her photographic studio and her personality over the many decades, and she's a noted photographer, particularly of Hollywood celebrities and others.
Legend.
A legendary
Yeah.
photographer, legendary. Yeah, right. Distinguished.
The only one around now.
Exemplary. A photographer of Hollywood celebrities and others. And Editta, welcome enormously to Conversations. It's a great honor and privilege to welcome you to my program.
Thank you, Harold.
My pleasure indeed.
I'm glad to be here this morning.
I am, and we're going to play. Let's get this out of the way right at the beginning,
Yes.
because we're going to play a little game with the audience now.
Yeah.
And maybe they could come on a close-up of Editta, if they could, from the control room. And if you can remember when you used to go to the carnivals, you know, you go and they would have a fellow there who would guess the weight of somebody. There was another one who would guess the age of some person who was in the, you know, the immediate vicinity. No, I'm talking now to the audience. And so your job in the audience is to try and take a look at this, and maybe if you can, come up tight. I don't know if you can, but we want you all to guess, if you could, the age of Editta Sherman, with who we're talking now. Take a good, careful look and so forth. And everybody, you could write it down. How old do you think this woman is? Now, you have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you've had your chance. Editta, tell the audience in this camera,
Yeah.
how old are you?
Well, I'm 93 years old.
Can you believe it?
I'll be 93 in July.
God bless you,
Yes.
darling. You look absolutely, no more than 50.
Well, I mean, this is what they say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, because nothing special that I've done.
Yeah, but listen, I've had
And
intimate...
had no facelift.
I've had
anyway.
no facelift, but I've had some intimate conversation with you before we started this program, and you have confessed to me that the reason you look so grand is because you've led a good, clean life.
Exactly.
All right. Now, I hope everyone in the audience is listening to that so that you can take a lesson. 93 years old of good, clean living will result in something like this. Congratulations on holding yourself so well. And you still follow very carefully a longevity regime. You eat carefully.
I was written up on the Journal of Longevity in August.
That's right. You were. Yeah, that's right. I know. We have it there. We could let people know you're written up. Oh, this is it. This is here. Let's see.
Yes, that's it.
I don't know where we can best bring this up. Maybe here or no, here. You can bring it up on my...
Right.
This
Inside.
there's an article inside. This is the Journal of Longevity. I don't know where the article is.
Yeah, here it is. I better have it out.
You find it.
Yeah.
And they wrote up an article in the Journal of Longevity, and
Here
maybe...
I am.
Let me see. Here she is. All right, let's get the whole thing. Let's get the... All right, here it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's more about... And some of the secrets of longevity living is included in this article.
That's August it came out.
This is August of last year, 2004, and it has to do... What is the secret of your such vibrant life? I know you skip rope every day still.
Well,
you walk all over the place.
Well, I walk, yes.
Yeah, and you eat sensible food, and you take supplements, right?
I eat... well, I try to eat the right foods.
What are the right foods? Because
Well,
there's a lot of conflict on
like
that.
Collard greens.
Collard greens? I don't like those, you know?
I know, but, you know, if you put olive oil and garlic and just steam them, they have wonderful flavor.
They do have a wonderful flavor.
And also spinach.
Spinach, like Popeye.
And, of course, I make this, you know, sort of a crock pot and put everything in.
You do use a crock. You recommend a crock pot. Put a bunch of stuff in there, let it go all day, and then at the end of the day...
That's all. I do it at night, so in the morning it's all ready.
What do you put in the crock pot at night that you have ready in the morning? Oatmeal?
Yes, I put the chicken in and then put all...
Wait a minute, you don't have chicken in the morning, do you?
No, but I have it during the day.
I see.
And then if my children come in or my neighbors come in, and they all get some.
How many children do you have?
I have I had 5 children. The one passed on.
Sorry.
I have 4. I have 3 sons and a daughter.
And 15 grandchildren?
And 15 grandchildren.
And how many great-grandchildren?
And 6 great-grandchildren.
How are those grandchildren? Any good at all?
Well, they're little, of course.
Are they any good at all? Do you like them? Do you help
I
spoil
love them. They love me.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't see them very often, but when they do, they are real cute.
Don't the little kids? I love little kids. I think 5-year-olds
The little one, 5 years old, he comes and he's kind of embarrassed, like, and, and he gets close to me, and I says, I know who you are.
You're my great-granny, huh? That's grand, you know. I'm not sure. I think maybe 5-year-olds are my favorite human beings. They're so honest. They're honest, you know.
Well, anyway,
now, we've got you down. Now, we're going to want to talk. We got you down as a esteemed photographer, a really important photographer, and so we're going to talk about that. But I wonder if you could, maybe you could share a little of your own life, where you were born and raised, that kind of thing. Let's anchor this on the personage of Editta Sherman.
I was born in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. What year?
1912.
1912, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, okay.
It seems like a long time ago. I don't know, it seems like yesterday. I mean, that I wasn't, you know, so old. But anyway, I don't think about it.
Yeah, you do not.
I mean, I feel good.
I read in an article that you were having your first child at 22, and the doctor said eat lots of calcium, and you've been doing it ever since, plus some other supplements, and paid attention to your health.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good idea.
I tried. I mean, the doctor told me I should take the calcium for the baby's teeth and my teeth, which I still have.
You still have all your own teeth?
I have all my
You haven't even
teeth.
lost one yet? Look, show, smile. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Teeth of granite. I mean, granite jaw.
Listen, overnight something can happen.
Well, it could, but I don't think.
I know about people have died overnight.
No, but you've done well. You've done well by living a very good life, and you've also been able to become, as it is, a legendary, as you say, photographer, and you've come to know so many of the celebrity personalities of show
I
business.
didn't have to go out with a little camera and shoot them on the run, you know. I got them coming to me.
So you are a portrait photographer.
Mainly. Because my father was a photographer.
He was. Now talk about your family. I understand you've got an Italian background there, and what was your maiden name?
Rinaldo.
Rinaldo?
Yes, Editta Rinaldo.
Editta Rinaldo.
Right. And
so you're Italian.
I'm Italian.
Extraction, right.
Right.
Rome.
My mother was Roman, and my father was Sicilian.
From Italy? Were they from the old country? They were both from the old country? Okay.
Palermo.
Okay, right. And you speak Italian as well as you speak English?
Oh, yes, I speak Italian because my sister is from Italy, and they've been here for a while.
What's this I hear?
So I converse with her almost every day.
And I suppose you're pretty familiar with pasta and what can be done with pasta, because the Italians have been known to do a couple of good pasta dishes.
I aim to go public with my tomato sauce.
I want to hear about that.
Yes, because I invited Van Johnson when he came over to be photographed.
The famous Van Johnson.
And he loved pasta.
Yeah.
And so I said I'd make some special Italian sauce. And so when he came, and he just couldn't get over it, and then I gave him a jar to take home. And he wrote me this long letter about my tomato sauce.
Really raving, huh?
He said, I'm going to heaven with the tomato sauce.
You can take it with him to St. Peter's Gate. Knock on the gate. I got Anita's.
Anyway, I'm going to go public, and because of an endorsement from Van Johnson.
That would be very important.
It would be like Paul Newman with his
Paul
tomato
Newman,
sauce.
All kinds
I don't know.
And he's done very well, and he's dedicated to all good causes. That was a pretty good thing. Big career.
So I'm aiming to do that.
So what are we going to call it? Anita's Best?
I'm going to call it Mama Editta.
Mama Editta's? With the S at the end? Mama Editta's sauce? Are you going to put sauce?
Oh, yes.
All right, Mama Editta. You're going to put a picture of you on it? Maybe that one with the plume. You have that plume, the Duchess of Carnegie. You can call it the Duchess, fit for a Duchess or something. There's all kinds of PR things that could be done with that.
I know.
Are you serious? You're going to do that, right?
Oh, I am. I have to find the people interested in putting it on.
Anybody interested out there might be able to get in touch with her. We'll put contact information at the end, particularly some of you people who are looking for some sort of a new product to get out on the market. And that, right? Okay, so anyway, you were born in Philadelphia, and?
And I guess I was there for some years, not too long. Maybe I was about 2 or 3. And then my father moved into Jersey City at the time.
And what was he involved with?
Well, he was with photographs.
He was a photographer, portrait photographer, a serious photographer.
He did good quality work. You
Uh-huh.
know,
So you learned at your father's
he,
knee.
He developed a name for himself.
Yes.
So actually, he was more famous than I was, I guess, with his portraits.
Really? He was
yeah.
well known.
He was
what
well
kind
known.
of people or what kind of portraiture did
Well,
he
he
do?
did doctors and, you know, business people and so on.
Uh-huh.
And he got well paid for his work.
I see. The photography
Yeah.
is, did
And
you
weddings
like...
mostly. He
weddings,
did a great deal of weddings in those days, you know,
and that would have been when the camera was relatively
new. It was an old camera, as you see it in the photo.
Yeah, What did he work with? Do you remember? Was it a Hasselblad or what camera did he use?
Oh, no, 8x10.
8x10,
I showed you in the picture.
Yeah,
there.
right.
Show it
And that's what you worked with over the long haul?
Yes.
Have you worked with the same camera over the whole period of your career?
Yes.
What is the camera that you like and what do you use? Maybe you could describe it for some of the effects.
No, I don't think they'd use it because now with this modern
digital
it's fine, you know, to get the picture, and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're used to working with an 8x10, it's kind of hard to get into it, and I don't want to get into it anymore now. Unless there's an assignment for me to do, which is important, then I'll do it.
But you use the 8x10.
But I use 8x10.
And you do most of the work in the studio.
I develop my own work.
You do. You develop your. You have your own. You have your own dark room at the Carnegie Hall.
Dark room,
Atop Carnegie Hall, there's a dark room.
Yes.
In which Editta turns out these great photographs.
Well, I have the skylight. I have the lighting.
You have use natural lighting? You use natural lighting in your studio?
Incandescent lighting also.
And you've been doing this, and so you learned at your father's knee in a certain sense, right?
Well, I moved in Carnegie Hall in 1949.
1949.
Next month I'll be, 56 years, 57 years.
Congratulations, Duchess of Carnegie Hall.
And,
I think I would say Duchess, yes, but maybe the Queen of Carnegie Hall.
Well, I was a queen for 1 year.
What happened?
With the Beaux-Arts.
Beaux-Arts,
You know, they voted me the queen for 1 year. They do that with different
you were?
people. Yes.
Well,
so for 1 year I was a queen.
So we should put HRH after you, before your name, Her Royal Highness.
Well, I don't want to be in competition.
Should we say, Royal Highness? Mr. Charles just got married,
and that's will do.
Oh, Duchess will do.
Well, actually, my mother was a countess.
She was in true fact a countess?
My mother was a countess, and the grandmother was a countess.
From Roma?
From Rome,
So you're descended of Italian aristocracy?
Right.
Maybe from the times of the emperors, maybe from the Roman Empire. It goes way back.
Well, I don't know. I know that she was they call her the Contessa della Verdera.
Yeah, say it again, would you? Contessa
della Verdera.
Ah, it's beautiful. That's really lovely. So you're coming...
Her name was Julia, so it was called Julia, Contessa della Verdera.
That's really beautiful.
So I have a little bit of royalty in me.
You do indeed. Yeah, and you carry yourself like royalty, and you look like royalty. I mean, you know, I wonder, Anyway, that's good. So you learned photography early on, then, I presume.
So my father had me do little things in the studio, like helping with the developing and washing the prints and lay them out to dry, that kind of picking them up and put them together.
Right.
So I didn't like to do it in those. I was like 12 years old.
12. You wanted to go play baseball, or no? You wanted to go skip rope?
Well, I wanted to be out with other children.
Right.
But my father, needed some help because he worked very late at night.
Also, he thought it was good for you, maybe?
So
it was like a discipline, right?
So I got into, doing the photography, and he said that he would make me the most famous photographer in the world.
Well, there you go.
That's what he kept saying, But I just joked about it.
You were joking about it. My father used to make, I was in Michigan, Detroit, and he, on a Saturday afternoon, he'd make us listen to Milton Cross and the Texaco Opera Theater from the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. We used to have to do, I would have rather been out playing baseball, but I think it's probably good. I listened to some of that, but fathers do that. But then you picked it up, and when did you start getting the idea that you really like this sort of thing and start picking up a camera to take your own photographs rather than develop your father's?
Well, Little Brownie came out.
Oh, the Brownie, Kodak.
Eastman Kodak, and he gave me a camera for my birthday, I remember.
10th, 12th, 13th birthday?
I did something with it. It was just a square Brownie.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. And he used to come to New York, because this was in New Jersey. But once a month he used to come to New York to the Kodak meetings.
Right.
And they would have new film, or they would have new things coming out.
New developments.
So I used to, you know, enjoy listening to it at the time.
So you're talking, you're 13, 14 years old, something like that?
I was about 13 or 14.
You're going to school at that time, public school,
yeah,
that sort of thing? Were you academically inclined, or art? Did you go to art?
High school, yeah.
Yeah, and did you like school?
Well, you know, I even brought some of my photography in at the time. I was starting to do, I remember copying, you know, different things.
Yeah.
And so I used to bring it to school, and the teacher would look at it, you know, and was amazed that I would do that, you know. So I continued that for a while, but then I went back to Italy, and I started. It was like
you went to Italy.
1930.
1930. You were born at 28.
No, I was about 17.
17, 18.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You were born at 12. So
Yeah.
you went to Italy on a visit.
And,
you had family there.
On a visit with my mother.
And there was family?
And my children and my sisters.
And was your family there still in Italy?
My sisters, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You stay there for a while.
I was there for a while.
How long? I mean, years or months?
No.
Yeah.
No, I was there for about 2 years.
Oh, well, that's good. That's a pretty an informative
And,
time. Yeah.
Yes, and
you went to school there?
I went to art museums. I was very interested in antiques at the time. So.
And yet, an artistic sensibility. Do you think it's fair to say?
Did what?
Artistic. You were artistically inclined.
Oh, yes, of
Yeah,
course.
and you appreciate the arts.
Oh,
and
very
everything.
artistic.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
So I was there for a while, and then came back. And then I met my husband, you see.
Harold.
Harold.
His name was Harold. It's a grand old name that's going out of use.
Sherman.
Maybe it'll be Tom
Sherman.
Harold Sherman.
I met him in court.
In court?
In court.
In court?
With my father, yes.
In court?
Well,
in a legal court?
A legal court.
What was it about?
Well, because I had just arrived in America.
Back from your 2 years,
So I came. My mother stayed in Italy.
Right.
And my father had gone bankrupt with his business.
With the photography? Yeah.
You know, so
oh, right. So many people did. It was terrible, yeah.
So he lost his studio, and he had a smaller version of the place.
Right.
And well, he was learning something else. He was learning how to do some advertisement with celebrities, and photographs, a projection kind of thing, which they're doing now.
Yeah,
but at that time, it was his own experiment.
You like slides? They used to have a thing called a magic lantern where you could project a slide.
Well,
Do you remember that? My grandfather had that.
That's what he did.
Yeah, right.
So he was looking for someone to take an interest in it.
Yes.
So someone had told him about Harold Sherman in New York.
All right.
So he went to visit Harold Sherman, and he said, well, no, it wasn't his kind of thing, but he'd recommend someone down the village at the time.
In Greenwich Village.
Computo, by name of Computo, and he had photography and so on. He says maybe he'd be interested.
An Italian gentleman.
Right.
Yeah.
So he went down there. And the man had said to leave it, you know, he would think about it. But, you know, he didn't want to give it back. So then he went back to Mr. Sherman, and they told him. Well, he said, look what you do. He says, you go to the courthouse, and you take a summons.
Take a what?
A summons.
A summons?
Yes, against him.
Oh, I see. You use the law.
Yes.
To
but
get
he said, if you need someone, you
know,
to
an
testify,
attorney, or a character witness,
to come down. So sure enough, I said to my father that day that he was arrived there. I said, I'd like to come along, you know, and see. And so I came along and sat there and looking for Mr. Sherman to arrive, and he wasn't there, and so he stood there at the door looking for him, you know. He had his hat, and you know, those they wear the fedora hat.
Yeah, it kind of I think they still are good.
And he was very handsome.
Yeah, your husband was handsome?
Yeah, oh yeah. He looked like Leslie Howard.
That good,
He was my favorite actor.
You liked Leslie Howard? Like Gone with the Wind? In Gone with the Wind? Or some of the other things from England?
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, he was something else, wasn't he? He died young.
Yes, he did. Airplane crash.
No, that's what it was. Yeah, right.
Well, anyway, so he said, so he waved, and so he came over. So my father introduced me. He says, my daughter who just arrived from Italy. You know? Oh, he said, well, when he sat down with me, he said, I didn't know, Mr. Rinaldo, I had an attractive daughter.
Yeah. You were kind of attractive then, right?
Well,
I mean, you've always been attractive, I take it, right?
I was 19 then.
Yeah.
So he had a recording studio at the time. And he used to record celebrities off the air.
I see, right, okay.
And he used to come to the studio that he had on 48th Street. And so he invited us to come there and see some of the recordings that he did.
I see.
Of the celebrities.
Yes.
And so it got so that my father, of course, wouldn't let me go out alone. So he had always, I was chaperoned.
Yeah. Well, yeah, all right.
Anyway, so I went up there, and he invited me to come. And so when the recordings was done, and the celebrities were there.
To take their photograph?
No, at the time I wasn't doing anything. I was working for a small studio when I arrived.
Photographing
children.
Children,
in
okay.
New Jersey.
Okay, right.
At Union City.
All right, okay, yeah. And it was like a job or something.
It was a job that I needed because my father at the
had
time
gone bankrupt.
had gone bankrupt. So anyway, that's how it happened. And then I invited him to come to New Jersey and be photographed.
With the children, or just
no,
to be?
no,
You had a studio
situation. The studio I was working
Right.
for.
Okay.
And so when he saw the results, he says, well, he says, you belong here. He says, on Fifth Avenue.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, and he said, you must bring your camera over.
You are an artist.
That's what it
That
happened.
it is, yeah. Now,
so we fell in love.
All right.
And that's it.
And then the rest, they say, is history and 15 grandchildren. Right. Congratulations on marrying a fellow with the esteemed name of Harold. You know, it's going out of style. But anyway, so that's really good. You've been photographing. And let's see, had some greats. We had Stiglitz, I guess we had Ansel Adams, and the kind of thing. Gordon Parks did an awful lot of beautiful work for Life magazine.
Yes, I heard about that,
yeah. And you knew the photographer community and so forth. And were some of them, like for a painter, it might be that Picasso was their model, or Michelangelo or something. Yeah. In photography, it's an art form.
Yes, it is.
And were there people that inspired you as photographers? Particularly portrait photography?
You know, I mean, my photography was, I'd always put my heart and soul into things, you
know,
and it took a little longer. If I wasn't perfect, you know, in the beginning for some sittings, they would come back again. I'd have a second chance, you know what I mean? And so, was most of these.
Yeah, we've got okay, that's it. Now, we've got a whole lot of photographs here, and we're going to show them. And this one here, and those in the audience, bear with us, we're going to try and bring them down one at a time and so forth. But we must have 30 photographs of famous.
I have so many,
so many, you got thousands, I know. But this first one is with, of course, that looks like, if people could see it, it's Henry Fonda.
It was Henry Fonda and Susan Strasberg. And it was in the play, Stage Struck, and that included Christopher Plummer, Herbert Marshall, and the British actress. I can't think of her name.
It's all right,
well,
the British actress. But this is a photograph that you did, and if I bring it out a little bit like that,
one of them.
That's a beautiful photograph. Now, the art of this will be, this happens to be color, most of them black and white or sepia. But this, the art of this is to get the mood right so that the people put the expressions.
Well, it was the play, you see. And they thought that she was too young for him at the time. But they wanted to, you know, to sort of publicize
that's lovely.
Susan.
Okay, now we're going to go and we're going to try and do this if we can't show some of these photographs, and we're going to bear with us a little bit in the audience. This looks like Yul Brynner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this was done now. This was just before he died.
I see.
And it was hard for him to do this. And he came because he really...
He had heard of Editta.
No, he knew about me because I did him. I have some others there that I did 20 years before.
Okay, try not to keep your hand in the picture if you can. We'll try and look. Okay, that's great. Yeah. And this was just before
And I have one that's signed by him.
Did you?
And this was used on his book that came out that his son wrote, Rock. His name is Rock. And it was done in the English version, the book, and the American.
Okay, very good. Now we're going to try and now here he is, the famous Mr. Charles Lawton. Can you come in tight on that maybe? And we got a number of these we're going to want to go through, but this is Charles Lawton himself.
Yeah.
I understand that he came to do the photograph, but he said they may be cockeyed drunk when I get there,
yeah.
right? And was he? Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
He
said he had his hair combed for the first time.
Oh, really? Well,
he was so charming.
Yeah.
He really was.
And you must have it. You strike up a rapport with the person
Yes,
you're going
I
to
do,
photograph.
yes.
You do, because you have such a sunny personality.
Yes,
It really
no
helps draw the
problem.
personality.
Yeah, no
but that's because no
right.
problem, because you got all those good genes and all that good nurturing. Okay, we're going to have to go through these kind of fast.
Steve Allen.
Steve
Now,
Allen is a
yes.
young man, right?
Well, you know, he called me, or his secretary called me, and said, Mr. Allen would like to have you on an interview that he was doing at
Yeah,
that
he was
time.
very, on television,
Yes,
was that? Yeah.
yes. And so when I was there, he said, you know, most of the audience is children that come in, you know. And he said, I'm surprised that they're all so quiet, you know, looking at the photography.
Yeah.
So I was there for his birthday.
I see.
And the cake they had and everything. So that was charming.
So did you take the picture after that appearance on his show or before?
Well, yes.
Before,
Then-
after?
I've forgotten now. I think
Forget.
it was before.
Before
Yeah,
you
before,
took
because
the
then
photograph before?
Yeah.
Okay,
so I
good.
showed him the photo.
And you,
yes,
keep,
that's
you
how
kept
we
up
knew.
good connection with these people on a friendly basis
Yes.
over the years. That's
Yes.
wonderful. Who is this?
That's Carol Lawrence,
Uh-huh.
and she was doing a play on Broadway.
These are beautiful photographs. Is this all done with natural light?
Well, this is natural. This is very special paper. It's fragile. you
Yes,
know,
I know.
and
That's why I'm
it's,
trying to
but
treat them very carefully.
she looked beautiful, and I have her in color also.
Yeah.
I mean, this happens to be black and white.
You like black and white or color better? What do you like?
Well, I like both.
Yeah, okay,
the
good.
color one is beautiful.
Okay, who we
Now,
got?
that's Nelson Eddy.
Nelson Eddy?
Yeah.
Where's Jeanette MacDonald?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
The thing is that he came in, and he was late, you know, coming in, and he said, you know, I didn't have
To
my
your
lunch,
studio
and he brought a Hershey bar.
A Hershey bar? With or without almond?
To have his lunch.
Oh, I see. Well, all right.
But the thing was that he was singing in Philadelphia
Yes.
at a concert.
Had a date to keep, yeah.
Right, and so he called me when he got back. And he said, you know what? He says, I'm having a little bit of a cold coming on. I wonder if he says if you could deliver them to me. So my husband said, well, I don't like that at all.
Oh, because there might be some, I see.
And so I said, I don't understand. He said, it doesn't look businesslike for you to deliver them.
Yeah.
Listen, I said, there's nothing wrong. I'll tell them that, you know, we're going to have lunch, dinner, and I'll rush right back.
And what happened?
So
maybe you don't want to tell. Maybe you want to tell.
Went there.
You can tell here. First time on national
He
television.
had his bathrobe on.
Yes. Oh, my silk.
And so I was a little bit leery, and I think the door was open to the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, now what is this?
What is this about? I've heard of this song before. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was very businesslike.
Good.
And he said, do you mind if I have a drink right now before I see the proofs? No, go ahead. I said, it's fine. So he had his guy. He said, won't you have some? I said, maybe I'll have a glass of milk.
Milk. Okay, being a good, clean, living gal.
In the meantime,
yeah.
I put the pictures all over the floor.
Yeah.
And he selected this one. Oh, they're marvelous.
Did he select this one?
So that was one because he said people didn't know that he used glasses. And so for that...
That was revelatory.
I said, I'll take some photos with that.
Yeah.
Well, I did. I got a beautiful order and took it home.
Good.
And anyway, when he died on the stage, you know, at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know, yeah.
His wife contacted me, and she ordered some small ones that they have a music room in California.
I see,
Yes, and the music room, his music room, with this photograph that I did, that his wife
wonderful.
got it. So
that's wonderful.
I'm proud of Nelson Eddy.
All right, I'm glad. That's quite a story.
Such a handsome
All right,
man.
this is from Sandberg?
Well, that's Carl Sandburg.
Yeah, we got to move fast, Edita.
Yeah, okay.
Because
it's Carl Sandburg.
Right.
And I have them color and so on. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Well, and that's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. And that's the book that she's written.
All right.
So
All right, good.
And it's John Hodiak.
Oh, John Hodiak, that's right. Yeah,
yes, and he did many, many films.
Got the cigarette, which everybody had in those days.
Well, this was a present to Ann Baxter, his wife.
Okay,
That's
very.
what he said,
That's lovely, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, And here's
that's Jinx Falkenberg.
That's Jinx Falkenberg. Yeah, right. Okay.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's a model and so
right.
on.
Oh, here they are, the famous couple.
Yes,
right.
this is a famous couple, and that's
Hume Cronin, Jessica Tandy.
Tandy and Hume Cronin.
Yeah, that's really good. These were all taken in your studio?
Oh, all in my studio.
Now the lighting again is done by you. I heard you say you have a.
Well, I have the daylight.
Yeah, but what about at night? You have lights and so forth.
But mostly it was done during the day.
Mostly during the day.
But I had the artificial light.
Okay,
of course.
too. Oh, there's the famous Charles Boyer himself, right?
Yeah.
So how did he? How was he? Did you get along with him well?
Well, he was kind of shy. Can you believe that?
Shy. Well, it could be. That happens. Lots of times the personality on the screen doesn't reflect the. Right. Okay. You knew Tyrone Power, didn't you?
And that's Mike Wallace.
There's Mike Wallace as a young man. He's now in his 80s, and he's
60 Minutes.
And he's still doing great. He's another example of somebody.
Well, I met him. He's over in Martha's Vineyard in the summer.
And
that's where
you go there in the summer.
My son has a house there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so.
He's been on the scene, and he's really great.
He said he would have me on a show. I mean, I was
on 60 Minutes.
My agent said that.
They should do an agent. That would be great for them to do a thing.
And that's
Saul Mineo. He passed young also. Yeah. He was in the Rebel Without a Cause and all that. Saul Mineo.
And that's the best. And the English actress. And she was very famous in the 30s and so on. And she did that a wonderful film with Leslie Howard. And
which film? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, the one that...
I don't remember either. Yeah, Leslie Howard was really a good actor.
Ingrid Bergman was in the famous.
Somebody out there in the movie. The movie buffs will remember. We'll get it. We'll look it up. Okay, that's good.
And that's Basil Rathbone.
Basil Rathbone himself. Again, the famous, the signature cigarette, which was the case of everybody in the 40s and 50s were smoking cigarettes.
I was photographing Somerset Maugham that morning, and so they met each other.
I'll be there in the studio.
In the studio, him going out and Somerset Maugham.
How'd they get along?
Well, they just shook hands.
Great. See, that's really. Isn't it good to be with people like that of great talent?
I know.
Okay.
That's Gig Young and Elizabeth Montgomery.
Okay. Very good. Yeah.
And he had a few drinks, and he was running out the hall and saying, "She's a wonderful woman."
All right. Half-potted, huh? Yeah. But Mr. Lawton arrived sober. You said Mr. Lawton arrived sober. He said he was going to be maybe cockeyed drunk, but he arrived sober. Okay.
He did.
Yeah, people, you deal with personalities, and they got all these different, they have interesting nuanced personalities. There we go. Fairbanks, is that?
No.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't see my, I don't know.
Maurice Chevalier.
Oh, it's Maurice Chevalier. Of course. I thought, he looked a little bit like Douglas Fairbanks.
He said he didn't have his straw hat.
Yeah.
I forgot about it. I could have had it.
Thank heaven for little girls. Yeah, okay. And then we missed one, so it's not.
That's the summer.
That's when you did the one with the other guy. Yeah. That was the same day you took these two photos?
No,
it was another setting.
He came twice.
Notice again, ladies and gentlemen, the cigarette.
2-3 years later, but I have the other one that's younger and so on.
Notice the cigarette again.
Yeah.
I told you that story about the oldest person in the world. There was a thing in the New York Times.
Tell me.
She was 123 years old in France, and she said she'd given up smoking 3 years ago for her health at the age of 120. Okay, there's that. Now,
and that's Elsa Maxwell.
Elsa Maxwell, Charles Lawton.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, boy, these are really memorable photographs.
And that's Leopold Stokowski.
Wow. Okay. Carnegie Hall.
Right.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Boy, it must be great to be in the company of these kind of people.
I mean, know, they're very shy.
Legendary. Okay, they vary probably.
That's Fannie Hurst.
Oh, really? I'll be darned. Look at that.
You know, she's written so many novels.
Yes.
Backstreet was one of them that I did this for.
Okay.
It was the third time that they did it.
Now, I'm going to keep moving fast, Edetta, because we only got an hour. Is that Fannie?
Gertrude Lawrence.
Gertrude Lawrence?
Yes.
Okay, look at that. And you get the smile and the...
the King and I.
Yeah. How many photographs did you take before you get the one you used to love?
Oh, no.
Of her, of one person?
Many.
Okay.
That's the young Yul Brynner.
That's young Yul Brynner with the cigarette again. Yeah, that was a distinct. Okay.
And that's Connie Mack.
Connie Mack, baseball fan.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason we're going through it is because we've got a tape
we have to show. Robert Evans.
Robert Evans, okay.
You know,
Look at the lighting. It's just magnificent. All right.
It's Ray Bolger.
Ray Bolger. He's funny.
Yeah.
God, he was
I got a lot of stories about him, but
Wizard
I don't want to take the
I
time.
know. That's the trouble. We only got an hour. We can talk for 20 hours easy.
Yeah, okay.
There's the Mr. Fonda. Right.
Yeah.
All right. This would have been about the time of Grapes of Wrath, maybe? I don't know. Maybe a little
that
later.
Was after, I think.
After, okay.
No, that was Mr. Roberts.
Mr. Roberts, right.
It's Eddie Dowling. No, I don't think anybody remembers him.
I don't know.
But he was very famous.
In the movie?
Yeah, so that's Mary Martin.
Mary Martin, she was lovely, wasn't she? South Pacific?
She wrote, she wrote me beautiful letters.
Did she go?
Oh, I'm sorry, I got two there. I forget Roberts in that. That's Herman Wouk.
Okay, all right, author.
Yeah, the famous author.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You dealt with literary people as well as movie actresses?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
This is a very famous actor, but he, can't think of his name now.
All right, okay.
Okay.
Got a cigarette dangling, like Humphrey, remember Humphrey Bogart had that cigarette dangling
over his
mouth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, too early now.
Tyrone Power.
Right, that's Tyrone Power, who you knew well,
yeah,
right? Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good.
That's years later.
Uh-huh.
You got more time?
Yeah, we got time.
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston, young?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Charlton Heston.
That's grand.
Yes, this picture's great. One of them
is this Pearl Buck?
That's Pearl Buck.
Oh, the Good Earth, the author of,
Is that right?
Yeah, look at you get the highlight of the hair and everything. You get all the trick of the lighting and being able to do it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's
Jackie Mason.
He's on Broadway right now.
Yeah, he's still on Broadway.
Yeah,
still got
right
that?
now, a new play.
Yeah. Abe Hirschfeld put him on. He got together with him to get that new play, I think. Okay, that's really good.
And Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio, a baseball great. Cigarette again.
Yeah.
And interesting, the cigarette was the hallmark of the age, wasn't it? Everybody smoked.
Everybody smoked.
Now nobody smokes hardly. You never did smoke.
No, I never smoked.
Okay, well that accounts for your good life. Oh, there's Angela Lansbury. She's great. National Velvet, she was lovely.
I've got beautiful
Gaslight,
photos.
remember when she was young? It was so great.
She's
a great person, and she's become legendary with that murder she wrote.
She wrote me the most beautiful letter, but
real
somebody
beautiful.
took it, and I don't have it.
Oh, you want to say those
She said
things.
she was flattered to be photographed.
There you go, right.
And I felt,
flattered to have her in your studio.
Yes.
Okay, we got one last one here. Oh, that looks like Bela Lugosi himself, right? Yeah, and this was done in your studio.
A story about him.
Yeah.
The thing was that he got down for it. Anyway, he was doing a publicity thing.
Yeah.
And he had a cape and all. And so he said, we went to the park, where he was featured.
Yeah.
And so we stood alongside of each other, and he said to the public, what should I do with her?
Yeah.
And everybody said, hypnotize her.
Hypnotize her. So that's what he's doing? Yeah, go ahead. I'm talking. I'm listening.
She got the big one there?
Yeah. And this is one here. Can you come in on? Okay. While we're at it. He
said to hypnotize.
Now this, I'm holding up this thing. That's not the real him.
When he came to the studio, he said, I want to see that.
Yeah.
It was in a viewer.
Right.
And he looks at it, and then he says, he's very serious. My dear, you are beautiful enough to be bitten. So I got panicking. So his son autographed one of the photos, and he said, should I use my father's line?
You're beautiful enough to be bitten, if not eaten, huh? Yeah, you're good enough to eat.
Anyway,
so, that's good. Well, let's fold these back up.
That's okay.
Let's put them down, okay?
Yeah, just put them down.
Okay, that's great.
Well, that's
that's just a sampling, as it were, of thousands of photographs of some of the great personalities of our time, for which I enormously congratulate.
Well, I did have a exhibit for Kodak in 1967 at Grand Central Station for 3 weeks. And then I've had...
How many pieces were in that exhibit?
Well, there was about 65.
What, all over Grand Central Station?
Yes. Just, in color and so on. And
where did they put that? Where was it physically?
Above the balcony.
Above the stairway there?
There was a balcony
there.
And so it was there for 3 weeks. So it was wonderful.
Boy, it must have gotten a lot of attention.
Right. Oh, it had a lot. Every day, millions of people going by.
So you're still busy taking photographs?
I am, yes.
You are?
A special assignment only.
You like to do it in the studio, right?
I like to do it in the studio.
Right.
Yeah, because everybody else is doing it, commercial and...
well, now they got these little digital cameras. You can point and shoot and everything is done automatic and everything.
You never get the real...
it is a
person that way.
It is a real art form.
It is.
Yeah, a very important art form. I think it's becoming more and more recognized as such.
I mean, that one that, let's see, that article on
okay.
That one article.
We seem to be getting an echo. I don't know why.
That one
this
there.
one.
That
okay.
was on
this is a thing. This is a thing confidential. Maybe they can come in. They'll come in on it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just show them the cover. That's Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
Did you see Moulin Rouge? Was she the one that was in Moulin Rouge?
Yes, she was.
I thought that was great, that movie.
I know.
Now, we're going to open it up to show you. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This was from that movie. What is it called? Confidential, the magazine.
Yeah.
And this is an article about the Duchess of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Carnegie Hall. And then there's some more over here that was in the article.
John Forsythe and Shirley Booth.
Oh.
And
there's the Hume Cronin we just saw. Yeah. Boy, this is fantastic. And there's something more? Is there more? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, there's more. So we can show you more maybe.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah, no, I guess that's it. That's beautiful. Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic. You've had acquaintanceship and friendship, I guess some of which blossoms into friendship over the long haul. It must have been really exciting to be in the company of such great talents.
It was. I felt, flattered. But the thing is that, these people just travel along and you never get to actually see them.
Yeah.
They're all over the country.
Well, they get busy. They get busy lives. They have lives,
Yes, I mean,
but you keep, I understand you went and saw Jane Fonda recently with a photograph of her dad, and she was really happy to see it. Yeah, she was here pushing, she was promoting a book or something, right?
Last week.
Yeah.
It was very nice. I mean, she just fondled her.
Now you've you've done mostly celebrity or people that are well known from theater or like Pearl Buck or something, literary. But you didn't do
book jackets. And
for book jackets, you would do that on commission for the publisher and that sort of thing and that sort of thing. But you didn't do like titans of industry, Mr. Rockefeller, or political figures that much and so forth.
I did some. Yeah, I did Franklin D. Roosevelt Jr.
You remember Franklin Roosevelt? Yeah. You're old enough. It's hard again.
Junior.
I cannot believe I'm sitting here talking to somebody who was born in 1912. I'm sorry. I just find it hard to imagine. You remember the fireside chats and all that sort of thing? It's absolutely marvelous inspiration.
I don't know. I mean, I plan to live to be 100, at least 100. I don't know. That's not too many years away.
Yes, indeed. And increasingly, people are
living
living
happy with 100.
People are living longer.
Yes, they are.
And people are living longer, healthier.
But I see people are dying every day.
Yeah, but
they're not 100.
I understand you skip rope every day.
Yeah, I skip rope a few minutes.
That's great training, like boxers skip rope. Yeah. And you got the pulse beat of an 18-year-old.
Machine. Yeah.
You did the walking on a machine, right?
Yeah, I have a machine.
While the crock pot's working in the background, making some good healthy food.
The healthy food.
And then you do supplements and so forth. So congratulations on a life so very well led, and may you live to, maybe you can outdo that woman in France who lived to be 123.
Maybe.
She was 123, no, she was 123 when the article was written, and she told in all that she had given up smoking 3 years ago before that for her health.
And I enjoyed this.
No, we're not over. We're not over. We have a tape. We have some program. We have a tape that we will. Yeah, we have a piece of tape footage that we want to show, and that would be a good thing. I think we can get it in, so we'll get that. Let's get that in because you've been on many television venues. You got so many times in Italy and in the United States. But you have a little piece of tape that shows some of your appearances in television.
That's fine.
So if we could try and set that up in the control room now, we could set it up. And we're talking again, I'll remind you, we're talking with Editta Sherman, photographer extraordinaire. And would you please roll the tape now then, please? Thank you.
When a woman in an opera cape and ostrich feathers takes an afternoon stroll on 57th Street, even the most jaded New Yorkers stop and stare.
People stop me on the street. What is that, they say?
Meet one of New York City's most memorable moving landmarks. Meet the Duchess of Carnegie Hall.
Her real name is Editta Sherman, and she isn't a duchess at all. But after living in Carnegie Hall for more than 39 years, it's a title she feels she deserves.
It was just a title that somebody called me the Duchess because I was older, I guess, and I wore these plumed hats and so on. And it just, it just came natural.
Do you think of yourself as an eccentric?
Well, some people think so, but I don't know why I am. I mean, because I wear these old clothes.
Perched in a rent-controlled studio high above Manhattan, surrounded by relics from Carnegie Hall itself, the Duchess lives a life of fantasy, freedom from convention, and above all, frivolity and fun. Oh, the Duchess is no ballerina, but at 76 years old, one has to keep fit, especially when one works as a portrait photographer. That's right, it's easy to forget amid all the laughter that the Duchess has a career as a photographer.
There's Andy Warhol there, and Noel Coward, the Rudy Valley, Jackie Mason, who's now on Broadway. It's inspirational to me because of so many notables that have been here. I feel that they're in this room, you know? I don't see them, but I have that feeling about them.
Editta Sherman's sensitive portraits have captured many of the great faces of our time. But today it was her turn behind the camera as she showed us the collection of hats which have become her trademark.
Like most New York legends, the legend of the Duchess of Carnegie Hall is up for sale. All her photographs, negatives, even her costumes are on the market. The price? $1 million. In Manhattan, I'm Raimi Blumenfeld for News 9.
Maybe just a little eccentric, huh?
I like the idea of asking an eccentric if they're eccentric.
Yeah, I like the tutu myself.
That's it for this edition of News 9 Primetime. I'm Reg Wells.
And I'm Jennifer Valapi. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
From WNBC TV New York, this is Live at 5 with Sue Simmons and Jim Ryan sitting in for Jack Cappany.
Good afternoon. The weather dampens Memorial Day festivities, but one man soars above the clouds.
That's where Chauncey was today, indoors at the Carnegie Hall studios, where he found people more interested in art than in barbecues.
Talk about Duval.
This woman is not really a singer. This man is not really a pianist. But this is really Carnegie Hall Studios, and that was really Editta Sherman, who is really a famous photographer, even though she is dressed today like Mrs. Astor's horse. Editta Sherman dresses up a lot, and she is as accomplished a train kicker as she is a portrait photographer. Her subject today, you may have noticed, is the celebrated comedian Mr. Jackie Mason, another accomplished train kicker.
One for the money, two for the show, three now, red now, go, go, go.
Oh, that's Editta's grandson, Brendan, getting into the spirit of the studio. As you can see, this is a very entertaining place.
This is show business, and part of it is posing.
In her long career, Editta has photographed Charles Lawton and Somerset Maugham and now Mr. Mason. I guess it's sort of a climax.
Jackie?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think he looks like a natural.
You would think you could do better than that. I'm spending a fortune here, and all I found out about myself is that I'm natural.
Editta's studio walls are covered with her astute pictures of the stars. I hope you all recognize Yul Brynner with a hint of hair. And, well, there's so many of them here, aren't there? Editta said she's done every one of importance in the last 40 years, except Garbo and Gabby Hayes.
Well, Tyrone Power said that, you see, he said to his friend, you see what I mean about her work? She leaves the lines in, and where she doesn't take everything out.
No.
He wanted to look natural. And
Dr. Kane.
Yeah. What? Oh, thank you.
Now just a few more of Editta's pictures, and then some more music and jokes from these talented people.
Everybody's in it. Blue, blue, blue suede shoes. Blue, blue, blue suede shoes.
I'm a natural what? I would like to know a natural what? A natural food.
Daylight shall come.
I can't go. No, don't put that on. Don't put that on.
You know that when you say don't put that on, that they're going to put that on. That was really great.
And
that was really good.
I met him in the restaurant the next day.
So when did you make your debut?
Everybody loved you.
One of the things I want to know, eccentric. I had an aunt who we used to call eccentric. But if somebody is eccentric, you've got to be very wealthy to be eccentric, because if you're not wealthy, you're just plain crazy. But you're eccentric and you're a lady of fine hats, apparently.
Well, the thing is that I have a book out.
Yes. Okay, yeah, let them know about it.
Vic Cunningham.
All right.
It's called Facade.
Facade.
Right.
Okay, what's it about?
It's about 200 years of fashion against the old buildings of New York.
Really?
Yes.
For the photographic book?
Yes.
Oh, right. Facade.
And so, yes,
okay.
Bill Cunningham, who's done the book.
Uh-huh.
And so now I have some copies which I sign and have for charity and so on.
Good for you.
Yes.
And those are your photographs in there, or with you in the picture?
No, it's just me
Yeah.
with the costumes and the clothing.
You apparently have a sense
Yes.
of fashion. You certainly look
Well,
very
yes,
smart this evening, and you have a very fancy, you're totally color coordinated, totally together. You have a sense of fashion. How many hats do you own?
Oh, I have about 100.
You got as many hats as Imelda Marcos had shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah.
We have a producer here, Iris. She has, every day she comes here and she's got a different hat. She looks gorgeous. It's really great.
The clothes that I wore in the book are now in the museum.
Really?
In Japan.
No kidding?
Yes.
A costume
in
museum
Japan,
or
yes.
a fashion museum?
He sold them.
So you've kept track. You've kept track not only. I see. Good. You've kept track not only of the of Hollywood and that, but also the fashion world, haute cuisine.
Yeah, well, the book is now. Bill Cunningham, who was the author, and is quite, works for the New York Times. And so he sold 300 books for charity not long ago.
Well, good for you that you've done that. And you've been in the world of fashion and of art and so forth, more than perhaps in the fields of leverage buyouts, mergers and acquisition, Wall Street, and economic manipulating of things. You're an artist,
for Duval.
Yes, we want to talk because it was Aristides, again, our mutual friend Aristides Duval, who many will be aware of and so forth, but he was the one, as I understand, I just found out that he had been instrumental in helping to save the bandstand in Central Park, not a small matter of social and artistic concern.
And we got acquainted there at the time, and I donated my studio to use for bringing, as an office and so on.
That was like the campaign headquarters to save the bandstand.
He saved it.
He did. They did save it, and they were going to turn it. They were going to tear it down.
They were going to tear it down.
Or were they going to put up a parking lot? No,
something like that.
Something like that.
But he put his heart and soul into it.
Yeah, these artists with their sensibility.
Yes, and he brought people over to the studio to talk about it.
And that's where they rendezvoused and got their business, put their strategy together.
So that was one of the ventures that I was involved with.
When those artists are people of good
sense, Aristide Duval.
Aristides.
Aristides. Yes.
He's of the Greek persuasion.
Yes.
That's an Aristides Duval.
He's he promotes art and.
Yes, right. He's an artist.
He's an artist.
And thank goodness for the artist.
Yeah.
Isn't it wonderful? You've been in the artistic realm, both in music and culture and that sort of thing, and that's where things are going on all the time that are really of the mind and spirit. More, I would suggest, perhaps more reflective of the real world than all the so-called reality concerned with politics and economics, which makes up most of the news. Don't you think? The artistic sensibility that reveals is more real than what's the so-called reality. Do you think the people are in touch with things and get it across artistically? Realities that are more important for us to understand?
Especially now with the Pope,
yes,
the demise of the Pope.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are taking a different attitude towards the people and the young people especially that are,
Do you think you again, let's just stress the fact, because people may have tuned in, that this woman that I'm speaking to now is 93 years old. Unbelievable that you look so well. It is such a wonderful thing. Do you think part of the prescription for living a ripe, good life, a well-led life, is a well-led life that you are in communication with some of the best of the human spirit that helps contribute to, with a purposeful life that helps contribute to enhancing the cultural milieu and so forth, is part of what makes possible a good, long, happy life?
Oh, I think so, but I don't know how many people know about it.
Not many people know about the artistic world, I'm saying. People that are involved in the artistic and the expression of the human spirit beyond all the mundane economics and politics and so forth is something that could be recommended to make greater numbers of young people coming along.
Yes.
Perhaps in recognition that those problems that have been so crucial in the past are going to become less crucial, And like Aristotle said in Periclean Greece, it was based on slave society, but only a few could be involved with the mind and the spirit.
Yeah.
That the concern with the really important things, rather than being always concerned with the urgent things, is going to become available to greater numbers of people as we move ahead these generations, and that the path setting, you set a path that people could model in terms of it's going to become more characteristic of the human society than it has been.
Right.
You do think that?
I think so.
Well, then you're a model for the ages, my dear.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? Do you feel like you're a role model for so many young people coming up when they're looking around?
Well,
How is a life to be well
led? People
led?
that know me and people that read about me, they seem to be interested, you know? And what I do, I mean, if it's just strangers, I say, well, what is your secret?
Yeah.
Because, you know, that is the secret in there.
Well, let me ask you.
On the
let me ask you
website.
Yeah, it is. Oh, you have a website.
It's on the computer.
On the computer, yeah. Isn't that wonderful? You can communicate with everybody all over the world.
On the photography, yes.
On the photography. And we're going to put the information up at the end so that people can be in touch with your ongoing career that's going to maybe go into 120 years old like the lady in our friend. Well, but I mean, you're well on your way.
My own yogurt now.
You're making your yogurt and you got the crock pot making chicken soup. That's good.
There's a difference, you know, in what you buy in the store.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they put chemicals in and so on.
Let me ask you something else. Do you like people? Do you enjoy communicating and being with people? Do you think that's maybe a secret of a good, well-led life, too, is to be able to find the best in people and communicate in a loving kind of way with our fellow human beings?
Yes, I mean, I have, you know, like tea in the afternoon and invite church people to come over, you know, these older people.
Yeah.
I know some of them are just really in bad shape.
Yeah,
you know,
right,
with walking and the canes and so on.
Being empathetically involved with them.
I used to have little parties at my studio.
Yeah, and have some, how about having, there's a British expression, it says, a little bit of what you fancy does you good.
Yes.
So having some fun in your life helps as well, don't you think?
Well, yes, I don't have too much time, but I try to.
Because you're too busy having a good time? Yeah, but you're too busy having a good time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's a life well led.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, I'm sorry. Yeah, we could talk to you for about 27 hours easy, but we run out of time.
Okay.
Okay, listen, Editta, my dear, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess, maybe Queen of Carnegie Hall and of the photographic studio, and thank you for sharing your art. We really appreciate your coming in.
I enjoyed being here.
It was good having you here.
And you're wonderful about, I mean,
it's easy being wonderful.
I've been on many, but, you know, you really are outgoing and really
Well, I like people, too. I think it's a good thing to be.
Do.
Sorry, we ran out of time. We're running the credits, so it's your pleasure to have had the perceptions of a queen. Duchess, Queen, Editta Sherman. Our pleasure to have presented her. Thank you very much for coming. We'll be coming in tomorrow, so please do turn in. Editta, thanks a million for coming in. It's a great pleasure meeting with a real royalty, and you are of a royal strain and so forth, and the regalness comes through.
Right, I hope so.
Until tomorrow, please tune in then. So it's really good talking with you, and so we're just chatting a little bit here now, and that's so good. We'll have to get no, not quite. We haven't quite finished, so we still have to say. Can we think of something to say for about 30 seconds or so?
Yes, that's what I want to say.
Did we get it all in? Your whole life? Did we get it all in?
Yes. I mean, what I'm trying to do now is to